The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Hey, we're going to talk about cricket to kick things off. We have SAS champion and Middleton in the house. Of course, a new series will be out, I would imagine, this year. Haven't seen the... Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Hey,
where apparently he smashes cricket bats across people's heads. It's going to be great.
Are you a cricket fan?
Told you about that.
Well,
yes, I am. I'm a huge cricket fan. Yes,
Are you?
I
Really?
Especially when I was growing up, you know, with Shane Warne just devastating.
Oh, wasn't
the
he?
England team. So yeah, I do love the
Ben
cricket.
Stokes, where does he sit on the mantelpiece for you at the levels?
Up there, but not quite the Shane Warne.
Okay.
But he's definitely up there, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, he's been amazing. Australia just demolished the West Indies yesterday. It's not even a game against them, so
crumbled.
that was pretty ordinary to watch. But since then, there was an announcement made that Ricky Ponting, that we see on Channel 7 actually quite regularly, calling the Big Bash. He is now going to be coaching a Washington team in the USA Major League Cricket.
in their IPL, their 2020 league.
Nathan, they're called the Freedoms.
In the
Or
USA.
the Freedom.
The Washington
so they've
Freedom.
done it with Galaxy, with soccer, and they're thinking that maybe cricket could work.
that
Cricket's not
won't
going to work
cross
over there, is
What's the
it?
population of the Indian base over there? Because they would go crazy
By
for
the
saying
time,
cricket
and there's
in
a
India,
lot of like
America.
Jamaicans and West Indians live in the States as well. So there is a sort of...
I'm not one to comment on this, Ant. In my opinion, I don't know, cricket is a professional sport that a lot of people love, but in my world, in my opinion, if a bird can stand next to you while you're doing your sport, it's not particularly a sport.
Thoughts?
Do you know what? That's a good point, actually.
Thank you.
That is a good
It's
point.
about time someone said it.
But also the Americans with a cricket bat. No,
No, it's not.
it just
is
doesn't go, does it?
doesn't.
You know, come
Okay,
on.
let me tell you
Leave
about
it
the
alone,
names.
leave it
So
alone.
there's 6 teams in this competition. San Francisco Unicorns.
Nathan's on
Thoughts?
board.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? What a
back.
wonderful man. What a wonderful, threatening team. It's intimidating. Oh, no, it's the unicorns.
Can I MC this conversation here? Can I just go on about it? The unicorn. Oh, my God.
Oh,
No,
no,
you don't
everyone.
like- you don't.
The pink horses that smell like bubblegum are
Yeah.
coming towards us.
Yeah, with their rainbow
Run.
tails.
Oh, no, they're so sparkly.
Okay, what about the Los Angeles Knight Riders?
Oh, that's great. Hello, Michael.
That's a lot
Yeah.
cooler.
Yes, that works.
Spelt like Knight Rider?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
yes?
Yeah,
Knight Rider
Washington
Industries.
Freedom. Yeah, whatever.
No, whatever.
Terrible.
I've heard that 100 times.
Stupid.
Oh, the Texas Super Kings. The Super Kings.
Super Kings.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really
what
trying.
makes a king super? Like,
That's a really
more
good
kingy
question.
than a
Well,
regular
to have the
king.
power of a king and then also to have superheroes, like superpowers, that's power.
That's fair. I guess
they
so.
phoned that one in. Keep going.
I think
Where
they
do they
sold
get
that
these
from an.
names from?
I think that might have been an
nowhere good.
IPL back
Nowhere
team.
good.
All the good ones are taken.
Seattle Orcas.
Nah,
I
no.
I mean, a killer whale's
killer
pretty.
whale,
They're
yeah.
pretty
Not a
bad.
cricket team, though. Not a cricket.
It's not a cricket team.
No.
No.
And the New York team is just called MINY, which stands for the Mumbai Indians New York.
Oh, interesting.
So they're owned
So it's
by
like
an
their
IPL
franchise.
franchise in India,
Yeah.
but they haven't come up with their own
No.
name
Probably
other
the best
than
name, actually. That's
Yeah,
out of
the
them all.
minis.
Yeah, the minis. Yeah, I don't mind the minis.
Jason Berendorf, Nath, who you
Yes.
played cricket with,
Yes.
he's going to be playing for
I've
the
played
Mumbai Indian New York team, which
the
is
minis.
good. He's a West Australian, the
Yeah.
minis. Have you ever jumped in the ocean with an orca?
Do you know what? I haven't, but I hear you're about to.
hopefully something.
No. He's hoping for an orca.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be the scene from Jaws.
Oh, Nate keeps reminding me.
Yeah. What do you think of a 20k swim, open water swim? Would
Yeah,
you
it's
do that?
hardcore.
But
It's
firstly, knowing that there is a ferry going to the same spot.
Yes.
Yeah, well, listen,
So you can
this
be out
day
there
and
half
age,
an hour and have a beer, or you can be there in 6 to 7 hours having a beer.
6 to 7 hours. Go for it. Listen, you've got to go for it. At the end of the day, it's you're pushing yourself, you're testing yourself. It's a great achievement if you achieve it.
Yeah, it's a big if.
It's a great,
So-
it's a great achievement even if you don't achieve it.
No, listen.
I would
There's
not
no
even
point in doing 10k and then drowning or being troughed by a shark. It's like, no, do the 20k.
To me,
even if you
it's all
finish
or
in a body
nothing.
bag.
For me, anyone that challenges themselves personally to something like that, to me, that's amazing.
Yeah, no,
Getting
it
to the
is.
start line is
Yeah.
amazing because
Yeah.
the
You know
amount
what?
of training he's had to do to get there. And show Ant your hand. So
Oh.
Sean has this permanent wound on his hand.
That won't heal.
And that's from when he's swimming in the pool. He constantly hits the lane rope, and it So
Yeah.
he's bleeding all the
shoulders.
time.
But because he's constantly wet, it won't heal. We compare it to the towel that a lot of bachelors have that they never wash and it's never quite dry.
Yes.
Yep, great analogy. I like it.
Well, and you've got a book out at the moment called The Wall, which it's self-doubt, you says, is one of those things that's hard to break through, right? And I always think to get rid of self-doubt, it's all about doing the event over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
So our training thing is, swim the Ks, running a marathon. Do the Ks, to the point where your brain just knows this is possible, I can do it.
Binging a Netflix show. Watch the show, watch the show.
Can you stand through the whole series, Nathan?
I can.
He can.
can.
He's
It's
a
being
hero.
disciplined enough to do that. It's being disciplined enough to go, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure I do that K no matter what. Nothing's
Yes,
going
I
to get
am
in my
still
way.
watching.
And be disciplined. It's consistency of discipline that turns into motivation, and then you're motivated with whatever goal you set out for yourself. So whether it's Netflix...
Do you acknowledge
I would like a goal.
the self-doubt that we all get at times? Do you go, oh, yeah, there it is, and then because you've done so much practice, you just push through that anyway?
Yeah, the self-doubt is look at negativity. It's everywhere, right? You walk out your door, it's on the news. It's just like the easy thing to do is to swallow negativity. It's so easy to do. It's self-doubt as well. It's just the easy thing. You self-doubt, victim mentality, and then you don't commit or you don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to put it to one side and you've got to commit. Because once you do that first K, you're committed, right? Then you might as well do the second one. You might as well do the third one, fourth one, etc., etc. It just leads on to achieving hopefully what you set out to do.
Well, and also I heard the term, what is it? Anyone can stand doing anything for 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds, you just got to reset.
Just got to do it again. Right, I can do this for another 10 seconds.
You should write never again. Here we go. Oh my God, this is horrible. Never again.
It's a lot of 10 seconds.
I want to talk about goals because that's where I don't have one anywhere.
Yeah.
I would like with a goal, right? So Sean gets this as a goal and something that Sean likes. If you don't have a goal, do you wait for a goal to come to you? Or do I have to go out looking for a goal of something that will fit me getting off the couch to do something?
No, something might come along. You might just...
What do you
all of a
reckon that would
sudden,
be?
with yourself, probably F all. No.
Definitely something to do with unicorns.
That's the problem. He's waiting for a unicorn.
And head bobbing.
That's so funny. And you have a podcast on the Nova Network.
I do
Who are
indeed.
you one of ours?
Head game.
Yes.
It's a good one.
Nate,
Yeah.
can you
I've
explain
learned some
that?
great tips.
Good. Listen, keep listening.
And their latest episode is how Tia-Claire Toomey became the fittest woman on earth.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
amazing.
Claire Toomey, okay. You can see her,
Yeah.
she's a CrossFit champion.
Yeah, she sat there, with a little vest on. Her traps were touching her ears. I was like, are you trying to intimidate me?
And
'Cause it's
did you?
working.
Yes.
So when you come across people, because you're getting some amazing people in your interviews and stuff, do you earmark any of them for SAS? Or do
Of course.
you... Yeah?
I'm always sort of in the background. I'm always looking out for the next recruit.
Do you reckon Sean would make a
when I'm
good
at the
recruit?
events, yeah.
Or is he
absolutely.
already is he too good?
No,
Is that the problem?
Sean
The thing
would
about
make a
Sean
good
is Sean
recruit.
doesn't have a
Good.
sob story to go
Yeah.
along with it. So when
doesn't
they get him
need
in the
one.
heart,
Yeah.
there's nothing to say.
Yeah,
except
what would
for,
you
what are doing
lambast
this
him
weekend?
about?
Yeah, I'd be like, what's...
Listen, I'd have to
What would you
break him.
probe?
I'd have to break him down first. I'd break him down physically because he's a specimen, right? So I'd work on what his strengths are. And I'd break that down.
I don't know.
When you
might-
break him
might-
down,
What
when
are
you
your
break
strengths?
when you break Sean right down, all that remains is just a bowl of soup.
I love a bowl
I've
of
gotten
soup.
there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we
yeah.
are talking about eating, by the way, because you just
Oh,
brought that up. So, and a lot of people into different fitness, healthy
Regimes.
eating and regimes, whether it's doing exercises or eating right. So, over the last probably about 5 years, people have been talking about fasting in particular.
Yep.
16-4, 16-8, whatever the numbers. What are you doing?
So I eat once a day. So in the evening, I'll have a meal, and a carnivore diet. I like meat, protein. And
Is the plate just piled really high for that one meal?
Yeah,
Or eating a
just
lot in
like
that
a
one
whole
meal?
pig's brought in.
I'll probably take on my full calories. Yeah, whole pig's
Yes.
brought in,
Yeah, yeah.
whole cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and normally a human as well. And a bit
Just
of a
Couple of gigantic tomahawk steaks. And
And then
yeah.
later on, he gets a tarpaulin and puts it over the rib cage in which he sleeps.
So yeah, exactly that. God.
So honestly, what are you eating though? That meal?
So I eat, I like my carbs. So I eat a lot of potato, rice, but meat. I like
Yeah.
my meat. So,
And how big's your plate? Because if you're eating once a day, everyone's going to think
Yeah.
straight away.
It's a trough.
it's
Yeah.
a trough.
Is
yeah.
it a trough?
I don't really calorie count. I'm just
No,
for
just
that- for that
size-wise.
meal,
Is it
it's,
bigger than your head?
Not as big as yours,
I've
but
got a big head.
See, that's a big
I'd be one of those big lazy Susans at a Chinese restaurant.
yeah.
A lot of people.
But listen, I don't
Yeah,
hold
you go.
back. So in the day,
Yeah.
so I wake up, but I make sure that I take my vitamins. I might have a smoothie in the day, a bit of fruit, a juice, just to keep the energy levels up. And then I really look forward to that meal. I really
Because you're starving.
no. But the thing about it is, once you break that routine, you're
Yes.
not, because you don't actually. It's
just don't need it.
when food is in front of you, or when it's on your mind, or when someone else is eating or snacking.
Yes.
Then you subconsciously take that in. You think, I must be hungry. I've got to eat. But you don't need to have 3 meals a day. It's too much.
Do you ever go through a drive-through? You got a busy day. You realise you're a bit hungry. I'll upgrade a meal. Do you? Ever?
I used to, yes, especially because I travel so much. It's the easy
Yeah,
thing
that
to
makes
do.
sense,
So I'm not
doesn't
going to
it?
say
Yeah.
that. But now, no, because it's my only meal. The thing about having one meal a day is not only do you look forward to it, but you make sure that you're eating something that you really like, that's really good for you. So it's not a case of just putting food down your neck.
For the sake
it's
of
a
it,
case of,
yeah.
right, I'm really looking forward to this. What am I going to eat tonight? I'm going to have
Yeah.
a nice steak or a nice
Yeah.
bit of chicken, some potatoes, some rice, some
I
fish.
suppose so. Because food doesn't come around very often, so I want to enjoy
exactly.
it.
So you get to really sort of pick and choose what you want to eat, and because it's your one meal a day.
And what's the time that you're eating it again?
Probably about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Wow, that's a big day to get through.
Yeah.
One thing you just told us off air that I said, what's your next goal? I'm swimming to Rodo. I'd imagine I'm going to pick something else after this. But your next experiment or goal?
Is to climb the 7 summits with my 14-year-old son.
Oh,
So that's the highest summit on each
So
continent,
the
yeah?
highest summit on
No
each
way.
continent, obviously ending up in the Himalayas on Everest.
And so your 14-year-old son wants to do this.
Yes, he does, yeah.
Well, you have brainwashed him
No,
from an early
I
age,
haven't.
you?
No, this is the case of because I've got a good friend called Nims.
Yes.
Nims Persia. He's done a documentary called The 14 Peaks.
You've got to see it, everyone.
And,
you can check it. Is it
it's
on
amazing.
Netflix? I
Yeah,
watched
it's on
it.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's Netflix. You've got to see it. It's amazing.
And he's a really good pal of mine. He came to the house and we were just breaking bread. And Gabriel was like, I want to go and climb with Nims. And Nims was like, well, the best person to climb with would be with myself and your dad.
Oh, so you got dragged into it.
So I got dragged into it. So so I said, "Are you serious about this?" And he said, "Yes." I put him on a training regime,
Yeah.
on a bit of a not a diet, but on a nutrition plan. And he stuck to it for the last 8-9 months. And
Yeah,
our
right.
first climb is going to be this month, Mount Cosi.
So, you're going to knock off Kosciuszko.
We're going to
Because that'd be the lowest one, wouldn't it?
Wow.
That'd be the easiest
and it's
one.
just to
Yes.
But we're going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're going to do the Hansel Spur, is it? The Hanel Spur or something like that. So we're going to do the hard
What
route.
about the one that Jack and Jill went up?
Oh, Jack and Jill went up the hill, but
Because they
listen,
came down.
Yeah,
Yes.
listen, we're not going to fetch a pail of water, that's for sure.
Dude, well,
We're going
I
to
hear
knock
they're
off
dead
those
now,
summits.
so
Yeah, I'll eat
go
them,
past the
don't worry
bodies
about
of Jack and Jill.
So what's after
insane.
Kosciuszko? Where do you go next?
We're probably going to go to
Kilimanjaro, or-
no, not
No?
Kili. We'll probably go to. I want to do Aconcagua with him
Okay,
because
so
it's
that's South America,
Yeah,
yeah.
south in Argentinian Alps, because that's a. People
That's a
normally
big one. That's a
prepare-
serious
yeah.
one.
So I want to do a smaller one and then just ramp it straight up for him.
When do they start getting laden with bodies? You know, the ones where you
Yes,
you
that's-
can't
yeah.
run.
That's your death zone. So anything from 8,000 metres and above, which there's 14 peaks that are above 8,000 metres. Because the moment you hit 8,000 metres, you've only got 30% oxygen. So your
Yeah.
body's slowly dying with each step that you take. Your body's
Sounds
shutting
fun.
down.
You're really selling it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trying to sell it to my wife
Yeah.
as well. I was like, she's like that. If anyone dies, it's you.
Yeah.
I think we should try this, Natalie. We'll just start with something nice like Mount Franklin.
To fetch a pail of water.
Oh, it's so interesting. There's so many people around the world who take these things on and a lot that don't. But you're putting yourself
Do you know
out
what
there.
it is? It's almost like an extreme life lesson. These are extreme life lessons that we're going to document. And, take the iPads away, take the phones away. As soon as I set my son a goal, as soon as I told him, right, we're going to do the 7 summits, he changed his whole attitude. his attitude changed, his approach to going out, and
Yes.
with his friends, going to parties. He just
And it was a choice that he made.
It's
So
a
whilst
choice
you
that
gave him
he made.
the regimen, it was he decided that, yes, I want to do this
absolutely.
and I'm serious about it.
And I thought to myself, if you're going to do something of this
Yeah.
magnitude, then I'm going to do it with you.
Yeah.
And it's different for me as well, where I can be reckless on the mountains.
Yeah.
Or reckless.
Yes.
When I say reckless, not in a, but I can push myself to my limits and my boundaries.
Yeah.
Where here, I'm going to really have to be sort of preserved in a way where I've obviously
Yes.
got my son next to me.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a completely different adventure for myself, but an eye-opener for all the youngsters out there. And I just want youngsters to know, once you set yourself a goal, once you give yourself a purpose, once you commit to something, and here, mountain by mountain, right, once you commit to something, then it will change your aspect,
Yes.
it will
And it
change
doesn't
your
have
life.
to be climbing mountains, but committing to something.
It could be, exactly.
Yeah.
Kilometre by kilometre,
Yeah.
whatever it means, mountain by mountain, step by step, whatever you want to do. But give yourself a goal, give yourself a purpose, and then because you can change your lifestyle around that.
Yeah.
God, you're inspirational.
You
It's
are.
disgusting.
I know.
Hey, by the way, Ant's got a book out. It's called The Wall. Smash self down and become the true
Yes,
you.
Amy, our producer, already flicked to a chapter she wanted to read, and that was "You're surrounding yourself with the wrong people."
There you
And then she just looked at us.
And then she looked around the room.
And a few eyes went down.
Thanks so much for coming in.
I'm
Ant.
really
We
impressed.
love
I'm
your
not
work.
surprised you came in. You're too famous to
Yes.
just do drop-ins.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No,
but
listen,
thank
I
you
love
so
you
much.
guys. Listen, love being here. Thank you.
Yeah,
Good on you.
And thank you.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Feeling it today. Had a school mass last night, so I'm feeling very
Sean.
enlightened.
Well, this is your fault for sending your kids to Catholic
Can you
schools.
tell me the things you have to say, the religious things you have to say?
A lot of amens, our fathers and stuff. I've got to admit, though,
Is there any biblical stuff that you all have to know, like everyone knows?
Hail Mary, full of grace, any of that?
yeah, there's probably a few choruses in the songs you should kind of know.
Hallelujah
So wait, the
action.
Mary thing. So what is that? Our Mary, full of grace.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary, full of grace.
The Lord is with you. Blessed art thou among women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
So what do we say that for?
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sins. That's her prayer.
Yeah.
As to the Our Father, when you
Oh,
back
so
in the
Mary's
day,
got one, and then
Yeah.
he's got one. So
Of
he's
course
an
they do.
hers.
Of
I
course
never
they
knew
do.
that.
Yeah, because when you used to, in a Catholic sense, you used to get, you'd have to go and confess a sin or
Yes,
something when
and
you're a
it'd say
young
you
kid.
do
I
eight
ate
Hail Marys.
my sister's ice cream, and then they go, right, 2 Our Fathers and 5 Hail Marys
Oh,
or something.
right. So so I only ever heard the Hail Marys. So how do they work out how many of hers you have to do versus how many
That's
of his
just
you
his
have to
decision.
do?
That's the priest's
But
decision
which one
at the
holds
time.
the most currency? It's his, obviously, because it's the church.
No, I don't think so. I think they're just
So
equal.
then how do they work out how much you owe them? Like how much, you know what I mean? Like why,
I don't
why is it?
know.
Okay, two
think
Our
it's
Fathers
random.
and 7 Hail Marys. Like
Yeah.
what's the dollar currency of this?
Yeah, I think it's kind of random.
It's interesting. I
They
think
just-
that one needs to get to the bottom of it.
Pretty sure they just make
If
it up
someone
as
knows
they
the
go along.
answer, please, yeah.
I
No
still want to
doubt
know
that.
what is it. What
No
holds
doubt
more weight?
about it.
Anyway,
No doubt about it.
interesting. This is the show.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Tuned
one of the
into.
things I know, one of
For
the things
religious
that you
insight.
guys from outside, and this all I find this interesting in a Catholic. So when you go out to get the Eucharist, which is the body of Christ, you've all seen that a
Yes,
million
so-
times.
so
They
that's
give you the
taking
bread.
communion.
They give you the bread, Nathan.
The
You know that
wafer thing?
Yeah, so that's just like a rice cracker, isn't it?
Yeah, it just tastes like
like a
flattened wheat.
sakata.
Yeah.
Sakata.
But the one thing about if you were baptised
Yes.
in the church, unless you've done what's it called, confirmation when you're 13 or something, you're not allowed to take that.
Yes.
I just think
But
when you're
are
in
they,
the
is anybody checking?
No, they're not. But
No.
but I just think if you're I don't know, baptised one way or the other, if you decide to, you decide to. I don't get these levels. It's just
The bigger question is, because I've never done it, what dip do they serve with that?
Wine.
have a guess.
Okay. Would it be French onion?
Of course it is.
Okay. I thought so.
Jeez, Nate.
The Catholics.
The most holy of all the dips.
Yeah, indeed.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Fringe World's on. That means
Yeah.
we've just got a cavalcade of special guests rolling through, including this guy, the first Australian to perform live on Jimmy Fallon, if you don't mind. Simon Taylor in the house. Welcome.
What's up, everyone?
Simon.
Great to be here.
No,
Good to
Simon,
see ya.
Back in the day, I used to go on their big successful talk shows in America. It was always they'd always do their spot and then they'd wait to see if the host would come up and speak to them afterwards. Is that what it's still like?
Yeah, it felt like that because, I didn't think he would do it at all. But during the break, I did my stand-up set. I made a joke to him. He's like, "Oh, say that on the couch," and I freaked out. I'm like, "Oh,
Am I
my
going on the
God,
couch?"
I got to the couch.
Getting to the
It was
couch.
amazing. Yeah, so he
that's
brought me
cool.
over to the couch, and I said the same joke again. And he laughed even harder. I'm like, this guy's a professional. He knows what to do.
It would have been so funny if he just blanked you. Come on,
Yeah,
say
exactly.
it again, and then just
Yeah, why
Ellen
would you
funny.
say that?
Because Ellen DeGeneres, what was the show that she did? It was
The Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show. So she did, and they back then it was the biggest on it. If you got asked to the couch, that means that you're going to have a career and you're well liked.
It's make or break, really.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
So, Simon, you wrote for Jay Leno.
I did.
So
Yeah.
how long did you spend over the US in that period of time before you end up?
I was just back and forth all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, so I'd
How
go
do you
over.
get those sorts
Yeah.
of gigs?
Why are you looking? Where do you want me to call
we know.
Jay for you?
Simon,
Always looking for options.
we're always looking.
Yeah, and you heard our last segment.
It's just that no one's offering.
Wait till I hear about ring fingers first.
Yeah. Oh man, Jay, I love it. I just did a gig in LA. I just had a friend living in LA. Said, "Come stay." To be honest, like it is nice to be in a hotel right now because, like, for the first 8-9 years of my career, it's people's couches.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
my mate
nice.
lived in LA. I just stayed on his couch and free accommodation. Did a gig, and a producer from the Night Show saw that gig and was like, "Come meet Jay." And I'm like,
Amazing.
"Okay." I didn't know what was going on. And I met Jay and I made him laugh. In fact, I was a bit cheeky because
okay.
everyone was like, he meets like 5 people backstage after a show.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying, "Oh, you're so great. And
Yeah.
we live here." And he's like, "Oh, thanks." And I thought, no, I'm going to be a smart ass.
You
And
wanna
I went up
stand
and I'm
out.
like,
Yeah.
"Jay, I could write those jokes." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Prove it." And I'm like, "All right." So I wrote like 2 pages of jokes that
Amazing.
night, sent it off, and the next day I had a contract.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
really?
So yeah, being
I
just
love
a
that you
smart
just
aleck
think-
Australian, like, I could do that,
So
mate.
when you're being asked to write jokes, right? So what is it? You did them on a certain theme? You just wrote
Read the
anything that
news.
was in your head? Just read the news, just
read the
topical
news,
stuff?
See what Obama's up to.
Yeah.
I did all that.
Yeah.
It's really more Obama's dog Bo was like my
Yeah.
favourite to write about, or something like that, or just
Your muse was a Portuguese water dog.
Yeah, I just loved all the weird stories.
Yeah.
Like this is the weirdest joke I wrote for him. There was a beef factory in Wisconsin that shut down because they found pieces of a broken pen in the processing. Okay. I'm like, here's my question: what was in the note the cow was trying to write before she got slaughtered? Right. I love the weird animal stories. Those are my favourites. Yeah.
That's really good straight off the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
So you spent a couple of years over there. You were saying to us off air that your wife's from Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually met her in Melbourne, and I think we connected because I don't know, I love America. I was just like,
Yeah.
I just go maybe, I don't know, half the year, and I've been to 26 states now. And so when I first started chatting to her on, I won't say the app because I'm not sponsored by them,
Yeah,
but on
no,
one of
no.
the they should sponsor me if they want the name drop. But I said, "Oh, great! I love America," and I was just bragging. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I've been to half
Yeah.
the states in America, so that's how we connected.
And she's like, "Bet you haven't been to Kentucky."
You haven't been to Kentucky? No, she didn't.
Yeah,
She said,
yeah.
"Don't bother."
I'll
But
plug the app for you. It was Red Hot Pie. You're fine. They're doing well.
Yeah.
I watched your Live at the Enmore special last night.
Oh, thanks.
Everyone should jump on there and have a look. Your experiences of being in a small country town, which is basically a street, was one of the funniest things that I've ever seen.
Swan Hill in country Victoria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, Swan Hill well.
Yeah, up on the Murray River. Yeah.
And when you would, when people would ask your name, tell them how people what would they do? So people go,
that's an
"Oh,
old
what's your name?"
that's
It's
an old
so
special.
funny.
I don't even remember. They'd say, "Good on you, Simon," and I'm like, "I haven't done anything yet."
You walk into a thing and go, "What's your name?" He goes, "Simon." They go, "Good on you, Simon." He goes, "Oh, the bar's pretty low for this town."
You know my old material better than me because I've got my new show in my head.
But
I've
what's
forgotten
really
all that.
great, I like looking at the old stuff because you can see how someone's developed.
Yeah,
you know
like
what
the
I mean?
evolution.
And like you were funny from way back then,
Oh, I
you know.
appreciate
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if that's how good you
Well,
are,
actually,
then.
I've gone down.
Big daily,
that
big
was
daily. So you've got a show at Fringe World called Big Time.
Yep.
What's the gist of that one?
I've hit the big time. I married an
Hence the name.
American, which is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, according to Americans. They're so excited for me.
Did you marry an American just so you would have lots of material? Was that one of the main...
Yeah, but she married me so she could have health care. So I think it's about I think it's about even, mate.
I agree with that.
So she gets to live. So that's actually a really good thing for her.
Fair trade-off, let's be honest.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, we just had a kid as well, and it's funny because he's American technically. So we went to the embassy and they gave him a little flag, and I've got an American family, and so we're just jumping back and forth. And we were just in America with the Kentucky in-laws, and I've just got a
Colonel.
The Colonel, yeah.
How is he? Has he told you the secrets?
Man. Yeah, exactly. That's the inheritance. You get the you get the spices.
Hey, in America, because in your Jimmy Fallon stand-up, you were talking about the cost of living.
Yeah.
Is that the same over in the US now for property and stuff? Because here it's insane.
Pretty much. Australia's unique in that, that's our only asset is owning houses. Yeah. And so in America, I think it's bad in the main, cities and things like that. But, you go through and you're like, could we live in Kentucky? It's affordable. And you're like, they've got a Costco and a Starbucks.
And a Walmart, surely.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the Kentucky like at Kentucky? What's the KFC like?
I don't eat. I'm vegetarian, so...
No, so you don't even see them?
No, I don't even... I don't see meat.
All I see is trees and plants.
Now, Simon, we've had so many people come in with Fringe World acts, a lot of comedians, and they've all had previous gigs before they came in here. And I've mentioned this 100 times, but, lawyers and mathematicians. And Bron Lewis is in there the other day.
She was a
teacher.
Oh, that's
What's
nice.
your background?
I was a tradie for 2 days.
Were?
Yeah, 2 days. I was a plasterer.
In the hairdressing industry. So you're a plumber for 2 days?
No,
plasterer.
Plasterer, and I was meant to. I wanted to move into carpentry, but I didn't last long in that job. I just I didn't like. What do they call it? Work. Yeah. I think it was just I was so sore. Just so sore.
That's called using your body rather than sitting.
No, not for me.
Physical labour, no, thank you.
No, and they were too alpha for me as well.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm out. They're just blokes, mate. You tell an alpha male, right? You can actually draw them into you. All you have to do is you got to pick up a power cord or a cable and start coiling it, and an alpha male go, nah, mate, you're not doing that, right? Let me show you how you. That's how they come in.
It is true.
Yeah.
Because I used to do it around the elbow, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just you're just in one hand. You can loop it
an alpha male will tell you off.
Yeah.
They'll
It
come
is
from
real
miles around.
confronting, especially in Australia, to be, in the presence of an actual man.
Oh, I'm not
the
that.
men. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think in the Enmore special I talk about them. They're so full of testosterone.
You talked about a man called Bruce that changed the tire.
Yeah, they're so full of testosterone they can't form words anymore. They just breathe at you. Just oh, mate. I'll tell you what. I'll bloody tell you what. And then they don't tell you anything. Those blokes.
What's the most manliest thing you can do?
Oh, I don't know, because my wife and I now, we talk about these gender roles when something's broken. She's like, oh, the thing's broken, the light globe's broken. And I go, and what? Why is there an expectation that I'm doing that? And she's like, well, I do the breastfeeding. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. I'll go to Bunnings. So yeah, I think I fix all the stuff around the house. I don't mind an enjoyable little task.
So when fixing is just screwing a loose screw tight? Or
Yeah, pretty much.
Like cutting of things. You don't have any tools.
I'll drill things in the wall.
Oh,
I don't mind doing that. We're not meant to. We're renting, but
I'll use those 3M sticky hooks, aren't you? Don't suddenly in the middle of the night you hear a smash because they all start dropping.
Yes, exactly. During the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a better feeling though when you get the drill out and drill a hole in the wall. You feel like it. Yeah.
When you're finally in a position where you're allowed to drill a hole in the wall, that's the exciting part.
And then you hit a live wire. That is exciting.
You should learn about that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You're having a good run here, so you're through till Feb 11 at Johnny Fox's.
It has aircon aircon. So if anything else, come for the aircon.
That's a great reason. That's a great reason to come and see your show this weekend. Thanks for coming in, Simon.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, good on you, Simon.
Good job.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.